Hey there friends, how's it going today? David Potts with Song Notes here, and we're going to look at Deck the Halls in this lesson. I'm going to show you a little fingerstyle arrangement I put together. This is using key of G chord shapes. It's pretty accessible. It's mainly going to be 2 fingers, maybe 3 fingers working together. Nothing too crazy. It's a nice repetitive sort of thing you can vibe into and get some fingerstyle practice with, and it's perfect for Christmas time here. So let's get into it. As always, get my practice notes for this one. This is something you can download, keep forever. There's 2 pages. Page 1 shows a sort of basic tab. Page 2 shows a version where I level things up a little bit, but I have lots of handy finger things written up and highlights, the stuff you don't get just by regular generic black and white tabs you see on a lot of the web. So I want to share that with you over on my website, songnotes.net. But let's learn this one and zoom on in and see how to play it. Okay, so again, we're in the key of G, and this is the first line. It's just really lines 1 and 2, right? Deck the halls with boughs of holly, da 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 da. I'm playing it very fast there just to demonstrate how the lyrics, which are written above, match with the sort of tabs. You don't have to sing, but the words are written there just for your reference. But just note that "'tis the season to be jolly," right? That second time you play things, it uses the exact same tab. So I'm calling this lines 1 and 2. It's just the same sequence of notes though. This is what we're going to learn first. Before I show you this though, really quick, look at the chords we're using, right? G, D7. In the next couple lines, we're going to need a C, and we're going to need an E minor and a regular D. So these are what the chords that I just named would look like if we're typically playing them in any generic song, right? But when you're playing fingerstyle, I want to show you this as well, because per this arrangement, these are the sort of voicings, meaning the version of the chord when it comes to where we're putting our fretting hand that we want to play, okay? So for the G, for example, first of all, with all of these, notice the blue circle note is where my right thumb is going to go, right? That's going to be the bass note. That's really important to sort of give the underlining bass low-end foundation of things. And then our right index and our right middle are going to play those 2 golden notes. Now, the thing is, as we move through the tab, it's not like we're just playing this chord for the G, for example, playing this chord for the C and this chord for the D7. But these are still the positions your fretting hand should go in. So here's the G, right? Here's the C, here's the D7, okay? The regular D, we're going to be playing the thinnest 2 strings, right? And for the E minor, thinnest 2 strings plus the thickest string, okay? So again, these are the sort of chord voicings you're going to want to just practice and kind of commit to memory if you can, because if you memorize where to put your fingers, it's going to make the rest of the tab really easy to work through. So this is in my practice notes again. I'm not gonna hang on this too long right now, but let's get back to how to play this and have some fun with this one. All right. So the first 2 lines, right? Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Let's look at the first 2 measures first. The first thing you're going to notice, right, on the low end you have the bass notes, right? Those are the thickest string. I'm using my left ring finger, which is what I really recommend doing. You're going to have a hard time following this arrangement if you don't do that. And we're just going to play that every 2 quarter notes, right? So this is, you could say it's easy to do, but it's going to get tricky when we combine it with the melody notes. Now the melody are the notes that are circled in yellow here, right? Practice them by themselves at first. You can just use your index finger and or your middle if you want, right? Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Okay, get used to playing that melody by itself. Okay, because once we get comfortable with that melody, we're going to combine and add the bass notes. Okay, the bass is pulsing, like I said, on the 1 count and on the 3 count. It kind of gives a nice steady droning thing. You're going to see that vertical line written there, that gray line. That simply is a note I use to help your eye see that this is a pinch. This is where we're going to pinch the bass note and the melody note at the same time, right? It's just like I'm pinching the strings. And I find that when I write them into tabs like that, at least for me, visually it gives me a cue that, okay, that's where I have to sort of do that pinch at the same time. So that's kind of the notation I use. But the first 2 measures, practice them in a row, over and over, right? Again, when you're singing the song, you don't repeat it like that, but when you're practicing it, it's helpful just to do it over and over again. Take it as slow as you need to, find that groove, and just sort of get to the point where you can kind of do it without making mistakes. That's the ideal, right? Now, let's look at the last 2 measures of this first line here. It gets a bit trickier. We're going to basically be going between a D7 and a G to the D7, but we're not strumming, right? Start off, though, with your hand in the D7 position, okay? this is the most important thing, is your middle finger on your left hand is on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Combine that with the open 4th string. Right? La 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 la. I will say that this sequence of notes is kind of the fastest that your fingers have to play multiple notes together on different strings. So this is, in a way, the part where your fingers are almost going to trip over themselves, right? Now this might be something that is hard for you to do quickly. That's okay. You can play this slow and it's all right. And this passage right here is kind of going to determine how fast or slow you play this song, right? But don't feel bad if you can't do it fast. Speed comes with time. There's a phrase in driving that I'm learning from playing video game simulators, right? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And it's funny how much that applies to music too, right? Do things slowly so you can do them smoothly. And as you get better and better at doing them smoothly, speed will come. You can't race into doing things fast though if you don't have the fundamentals down. So anyway, and then the last measure, right? Okay, a little bit of a stretch there with our left pinky, but do not shy away from this. Notice how my ring finger is staying here. I'm gonna pluck that 4th fret of the 4th string with my pinky, and then do a pinch again of the 6th string and the 3rd string. Now, technically, you could get away with this by not using your pinky, but I recommend giving it a try. Your pinky won't get stronger unless you give it some reps, give it some things to practice, right? So that's gonna be the first line. In full, it would be... repeat that, right? 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Then let's move to line 3 here, right? Line 3, this is probably the trickiest one because it's just tricky. I'll explain why in a second. The first couple measures are not too bad, right? We're gonna go back to that D7 where we always, every time we play a D7 in a song, I'm pretty sure, we're gonna start by playing just the open 4th string and the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with our middle finger, right? Just like in the diagram I showed you at the very beginning with the chords, right? Okay, that's the first measure. Bum, 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 bum. Then we go to a G with the open 2nd string. Okay, now this is a bit awkward going to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string at the end of that 2nd measure. Our ear almost expects it to go to the open 3rd string because that's a G note, right? That kind of sounds more stable because we're kind of ending on that chord tone, that G note, which is played over a G chord, which sounds really good. But this measure ends, and the first measure ends with this note. It's kind of setting up this thematic tension, which is going to explode the next 2 measures, right? And then we go to the 3rd measure here. So we're going to pinch a 6th string and open 2nd string. Oh, I missed my bass note there. So I'm doing ring finger on the bass note. And I'm using my middle and pinky here, right? It's probably, you know, I don't know what else you would do. You would probably do either index and pinky or middle and pinky. You kind of can't do these 2 fingers because your ring finger is in the way and you want to keep your ring finger there. Okay, so I'm using middle and pinky. And then for the E minor, same fingers, just different string. I guess I'm using my index and ring here. And then the D. Okay, so this line 3 here repeated. Let me do it slow. Okay, one more time. Oh, I messed up. I'm gonna keep that in there. I find that the tricky part about this is you have to keep your ring finger on that 3rd fret of the low E string for the 2nd measure and the first half of the 3rd measure, but then you take it off for that E minor. So let me try it one more time. Okay, that's line 3. And then line 4, check this one out. It's pretty standard stuff. We're gonna go back to that G that we started with. Exact same as the first 2 measures of the first line. And then it ends, this is pretty straightforward, it's a C, but we're just gonna do a bass note on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and then jump to that G with the 3rd fret and 3rd fret on the 6th and 2nd string. I find it's tricky. to jump to that G just in time, right? Because we're kind of doing the C, but we have to da, 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 da. We don't have much time to get to this G, and we have to land our pinky there. So that might take some time to get used to, but just practice this transition. This is a perfect thing to practice on the couch. This pinched C to this pinched G. Find your own rhythm when you're practicing. Find something you can have fun with and settle into. Make it a little game for yourself. It's going to make it more fun. It's going to make the practice go by quicker, and then you'll learn it faster, and then you can rock this, right? I messed up. Do, 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 do. Okay? Da, 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 da. So that is going to be the whole thing. Let me play it from beginning to end now, and you see how it sounds here. Okay? All right, so that's going to be it for Deck the Halls. Again, I will give you the print-friendly notes over on my website, and I'll have a separate video where I do a playthrough where it's just me zoomed in, playing, tabs on screen, no talking. That way you can reference it as a way to sort of see what I'm playing and see very carefully what I'm doing without having to sort of fast forward through this video. Okay, so that's over there, songnotes.net. I hope you found this one helpful, y'all. Deck the Halls, fun song to play, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, check out all my other Christmas songs as well. I have a bunch of other Christmas lessons waiting for you over on my website. So I'll see you in the next lesson, and Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.